Hey guys, I'm back with this really cool DIY embellishment tutorial. As you saw, Kira and I are doing 4 days of DIY embellishments, and we were planning on doing this for you guys. We've been planning on it for a couple months, but then Kira moved and it started with summer vacation, and so we procrastinated, but Kira was awesome, and she already uploaded one video onto YouTube, scheduled it, and it went live a couple days ago. So I said, okay, well, I guess we're doing DIY embellishments, which is great, and I'm excited to get these things done for you. So today what we're doing is we're going to make some DIY acrylic shapes. So I went to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Joann's, I think it was Michael's, and I picked up these Shrinky Dinks plastic. It's a set of 10 8.5 by 11 sheets. These are the Frosted Rough and Ready Creative Pack. They also come in clear. So the Rough and Ready are going to have one side that's been slightly sanded. Let me see if I can show you guys. So see how that's been slightly sanded a little bit? So one side's going to be rough, and then this side is nice and shiny and smooth. So we are going to be doing coloring on this rough side. So what I did is I went ahead and set it through my Silhouette machine. You're going to want your settings to be a blade depth of 10, a speed of 5, and a thickness of 33. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to color these. I really love the Ellie Studio. So one thing that you need to know before I get into the inspiration for these is, if you have the very first version of the Silhouette Cameo, the one that you can't get a deep blade on, then you're going to have to kind of poke these out. I'm going to get it started with the scissors again, and then come in and peel the negative space away. So it was really nice that, oh, see, that one ripped. It was really nice that at least the Silhouette perforated it. The other thing that you can do, and I'll pull it out in just a second, this is just because I wanted these specific star shapes. See how that one ripped too. So Silhouette isn't that great. But I wanted those specific star and heart shapes, and I don't have those sized punches, but guess what? You can use punches as well. So I would recommend getting your big punches out, the big shapes. So I have this big circle, I have a medium-sized circle. This one's gonna make really tiny ones. So when you shrink these down, remember that you're gonna go down to about 3/4 of the size that you started off with. So this size here was one that I had done a while ago. Started with this sized punch. So do you see the difference? It's about 3/4 to half the size. This size here started off with a 1-inch punch and a teeny tiny little star in the middle, and same with this one, except for instead of a star I did a heart. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and punch out a couple of these big ones, but I'm gonna do them as half circles because I really want to use these in my Project Life, and I love the look of half circles in Project Life. I'm going to use this Fisker's punch, and sometimes those Fisker's punches are finicky. They don't like to punch through thicker materials unless you have the thicker punch. Oh, and this one worked great. So that's awesome. So I'm going to do some fun clouds. I'm trying to match the new pink paisley line, the new summer lines. What was it? I'll think of it in a minute. I'm gonna make a sun. I think a sun would be really cute. I'm gonna do it ombre. Okay, and then for my last one, I'm going to take this hexagon punch. I really like the half hexagon look in my project life as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do just a half a one. And these, when you're doing your project life, are really fun to add up to the very top or onto the side of your 3x4 cards or 4x6 cards. So I'm trying to think here if there's anything else that I want to add in. Let me add in some of these smaller punches just so that we can see how little they get. Because I really like adding tiny things onto my embellishments or onto my layouts. So there we go. We got some punches and we have some silhouette shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video real quick. I'm going to take another sheet and I'm going to attempt one more time to cut on my silhouette because I really want to get some acrylic words. So I'm going to push this aside and I will pause you for just a second. Okay, while I have my silhouette cutting, I thought I would come back and start talking about how you can color some of these. You can, first of all, you can use your Tombow markers or you know, any kind of a blending marker. I have these really cute Tombow brush markers. I haven't tried it with this gold. This is the Wink of Luna brush pen by Zig, and I could try to use it on one of these little guys just to see how it turns out. I don't know if you guys have these like Wink of Stella or Wink of Luna brush pens. I wanted to get more into brush scripting, and so I thought that a gold would be really fun for Christmas, but I didn't like the way that this pen flowed, so we'll do some gold on this one and see how it turns out when we shrinky dink it. One thing that you need to know when you're doing your coloring on your shrinky dinks, I'm going to put that aside, is that your pigmentation is going to be a lot brighter. It's going to be more pigmented when it shrinks up because all of your colors are going to come together. So if you're using these like Crayola twistable crayons or your colored pencils, it will turn out a little bit lighter. This is actually what I prefer using for more control. If you want a solid color, so say we just wanted a solid heart, I would say go with a Sharpie because you're going to get the most and best coverage from your Sharpie. And I really like this. This is a Bic permanent marker, not a Sharpie. So I'm going to see how that turns out. I bet that'll be really pretty and it'll go really nice with the Summer Lights collection. And like I said, this is going to give you the best solid coverage. It's going to look the most like an acrylic shape, especially when you flip it over after it's done melting. And just make sure that when you're marking it up to have the least amount of brush strokes as possible. So we'll try that one. And then your Tombow markers. So let's see if I have that color would go really good with the Summer Lights. go with these colors for now. I'm just gonna go from, let's see, I think that to this. To that. I think I'm just going to do these 3 colors. I don't like adding this into the sun. So I'm just going to color it on. Come in with that darker purple too at the very bottom. Try to blend this orange in a little bit more. A little bit better. Okay, so I've got it blended. Here's what it looks like. That'll be really cute, I think. So we'll put that one aside. Okay, now let's do a cloud. I really like the idea of doing like a sunsetty cloud with the turquoises and the pinks. So I'm going to use these twistable crayons, and these are best used in like a circular motion. So you're scribbling like this and not like this. See the difference between where I've blended right here and where I haven't blended right here. I'll show you a close-up. See how I haven't blended here, but I have here, and how it just kind of smooths everything out. Now we have this cute little cloud. I think that'll turn out really pretty too. So now that I've done those, I wanted to do some stamping for these other little guys that I've punched out. So I'm going to grab a clean piece of paper. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a couple stamp sets. Okay, so the one thing that you need to remember when you're doing this kind of stamping is that if you're doing it on the rough edge, it's going to look less glossy. So it's going to look like sanded acrylic, because you can't flip over words. Okay, so and I'm going to take a black permanent marker. Okay, so I'm going to take one of the triangles, and I think that that would be really fun to do some kind of a banner on. There, we'll see how that turns out. So I'm gonna clean up real quick. I'm gonna go look at my silhouette cut to see if it worked this time, and I will be right back. Okay, so I was able to pull off this new sheet off of my Silhouette machine. And I'm going to see if they pop out any better. I cut it 4 times, so 2 double cuts. And I don't think that they're going to pull off any better. I really need the new deep blade setting. That actually looks like the Summer Lights. That was an accident, but that totally looks like the font from Summer Lights. Let's see, I need to put my scissors. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to be really careful and try to cut everything out. I really wanted this to, yeah, see, it didn't even go through on the other side. I wonder if I was just to trace on the other side a little bit, if maybe that would help. Okay, so I did want to show you that I ended up getting some of these Silhouette cuts done, but I ended up having to peel it away like I was showing you before. So here's some that I haven't done yet, and the stars are really easy just to go in and follow the same lines. These were a little bit more hard. I just scored the shiny side because the shiny side was the side that I had down, so I scored the part that didn't get cut through, and then I was just able to simply peel the whole thing away. And I just had to be really careful around the corners so that I didn't break off a piece of the star. So it didn't take me too long. Definitely not what, you know, I would want it to just peel right off of the Silhouette mat. Obviously that would be the easiest solution, but since the Silhouette doesn't cut all the way through, this is a next best thing. You can as well use your manual die cutter. That would probably be the best scenario, but you're not going to get like a big word like this unless you have a die that's like that. So I wanted it big, and this is, let's see, I cut this down to 9.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So that would be about 4 inches by 1 inch. So it'd be about that big when it's all said and done. You know, about half the size. So that's what you got to keep in mind when you're using a manual die cutter. If you have basic shapes like stars and hearts and things like that, the other thing you want to keep in mind is not only is the outside of this going to shrink, but the inside of it is going to shrink as well. So this will get to be a thinner line, which is why it's really fat, why I made it really just a big one. So I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring these up. I'll give you a sneak peek before I put them in the oven. I'm just going to do most of these not stamping because I really like the colored effect and the solid color better. And then I just wanted to show you that you can stamp on them if you wanted to. And then I'll go ahead and stick these in the oven and get them baking. Well, real quick, let me put them out for you so you can see what they look like, because this pan is really dirty. So there's the blue, I got a couple clouds, I got some just normal Project Life shapes that I think would be really, you know, just normal shapes that would be really good for Project Life. I have a couple of these half circles, a bunch of stars. Here's another one of those clouds. And again, I just kind of went off of the Summer Lights colors, and then I also had a couple other projects that I thought I wanted to add these to. Here's another cloud that I did with a colored pencil. And here's that ombre sunshine. I really like that. We're gonna try out that gold. I don't know if that would turn out very well. This is gonna be a clear acrylic piece background, and same with this one. I think that this would turn out really cute. And then these stars I think are gonna be my favorites. So move these over so you can see them. So there's 1, 2, and 3. So, and then the summer. So I'm gonna stick all of these down on my sheet. I'm gonna throw them in the oven and cross my fingers and hope it turns out great. I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, well, this is what I have. So my summer would have turned out really great, except now it's just I might be able to use this for the ER for having to go to an emergency room or something. So what happened was that some of my ATG stuck down, and I didn't have a like a parchment. I have wax paper, but I was afraid that the wax paper would have melted. So when everything like started to shrink, it got pulled because the stickiness from my ATG stuck down to the metal pan I was using. So I might try it again. We'll see. That was a lot of work to do for that little title, but I really liked how the shading turned out. I mean, the shading was really pretty, and it would have looked really great if it didn't get ruined. What I really love the most are these stars. Those are definitely my favorites, and I love the plain stars. So you have, you know, one side is shiny and one side is matte. So one side looks more like frosted glass. Let me see if I can see. That one looks more like the shiny acrylic pieces. Let me see if I can get a piece of paper for you. Okay, so here's one. So one side is shiny. Let's see here. And then the other side looks more like a frosted finish, a frosted glass. So it's definitely not as shiny. Can you see that? So there's the frosted glass side, and here's more of the acrylic look side. So it just depends on what you are going for. I think you could probably see it better with the blue. Okay, so here is the focus, the frosted side, and more of the acrylic side. That was good. I like the frosted side on the blue one for sure. So I have all of these little stars in all of the different colors. I have some of the hearts. If you're using a lighter color, just make sure when you're touching it that you're not going to smudge it like I did. So I'll have to do those over again, but everything else turned out really cute, I think. I really, really love the sun. I think I'm going to do more of these. So here's how the sun turned out. There. And I really like the frosted glass look on the one side. So these are definitely going to be fun to make for a stash. I think I'll probably just focus on one thing at a time, but I wanted to show you several different ways that you can do something. I really love the ombre on the triangles. Now remember that these triangles came from this sized punch, right? So that sized punch is that big. That's how big they turn out. So about half the size, right? So remember that when you guys are making these, that if you want larger acrylic pieces, you're going to have to do, you know, if you wanted something that was a size, it needs to be twice as big as this, like 4 by 6. And then these little clouds, so this was my large cloud punch and this was my small cloud punch, so it gave me just tiny little button type embellishments. And I really love this little 4th of July hexagon and this banner that I did, because I'm going to be, of course, scrapping some 4th of July stuff. But here is how those turned out. And I love that even though it was clear, because I didn't put anything on it, it still looks white because it shrinks down. Same with this one that I stamped happy on. This one I stamped party on. So I had that little party one right here, and this one that said happy. This was the gold one, and it didn't turn out gold at all. It's just, I don't know, Canadian goose duck poop colored. But I do love the little ombre effect pieces, and I think I'll probably make more of those for my Summer Lights collection. And I'm going to work on those words again. I'm not willing to give up on these. I'm not willing to give up because I really loved how the font turned out, and I think they would be the perfect size. So we'll just have to see how that works. Anyway, that's all I've got for my DIY project. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. I have some DIY cork embellishments for Project Life, and you won't want to miss that. All right, bye guys. Bye.